you can fulfill your dreams, a dream that's worth dreaming, but don't expect it to be easy.
李白曾经在《行路难》里面这样写道：行路难，行路难，多歧路，今安在。对于贝克特来说呢，我在想，如果他有生之年会中文的话，肯定是没事老在脑海里面回荡这两句词。对于他来说，人生有2大难点，第一个是战争，第二个就是艺术。上一期我们已经谈过了战争，那么这一期我们谈一谈他的艺术。就像 Robert 所说的，小美人鱼在陆地上行走的每一步，都好像行走在碎玻璃渣上。尽管如此，他是不会放弃的，因为他深爱着那个王子。那么对于贝克特来说，写作也是这样。就像李白在《行路难》最后写下的2句：长风破浪会有时，直挂云帆济沧海。贝克特最终迎来了他写作生涯的戈多，他没有白等。
I think for those kind of very great writers,
Yeah.
when they can observe a way of observing the life which can
Yeah.
give endless inspiration to generations,
Yeah.
well, they live a life kind of quite match their observation, which brings them a bit, you can say, definitely going through desperate moment.
Well, I think nearly everybody in Europe
Yeah.
lived that life. I mean, millions and millions of people
But people who can
all over the world went through that experience.
are conscious about that, who can make it like art,
Yeah.
make it into words, are rare.
They are rare. The kind of person he was, whatever kind of gift he had, and he worked at it. I mean, it's so interesting to read the. I've never read his novel A Dream of Fair to Middling Women, which was not published in his lifetime. It was never published till after he died.
Okay.
And I was reading some of it on the train, and it's pretty bad.
Oh, very bad.
Yeah, pretty bad.
Pretty
It's pretty bad, but it's so clearly based on his relationship with James Joyce. I mean, it reads, the opening chapters read like it's almost a copy of Joyce's novel, A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. And then by the time he's writing Waiting for Godot, it's nothing like Joyce. Like, it's utterly unlike Joyce. And the story that Beckett himself told was that he found that by spending time with his mother, May, as she died of Parkinson's disease. So at the end of her life, and Parkinson's is a horrible disease. And so she was incapacitated and blind and could barely speak and mad. And something about being with her led him to reject Joyce's sort of extravagant investigation of language and to explore instead sort of devastation. Which is interesting because, of course, The Portrait of the Artist starts with the character Stephen Daedalus's relationship with his dead and dying mother. So these two great Irish writers both find their genesis,
with the death of their mom.
with the death of their mothers, but they end up in these two vastly different
Pathways.
ways of thinking
It's
about the world.
good for Samuel Beckett. It's you
To escape
yes.
Joyce. Yeah, every writer has to.
You have to kind of find your own approach.
You do.
To your own art. Otherwise, you just like become somebody's second.
Yeah, and that's quite a thing for writers.
Yeah.
Again, the American critic Harold Bloom, who I admire, wrote a whole book called The Anxiety of Influence, which is all about that relationship between what's gone before and what comes next. And it's incredibly hard because I think it's agony for writers because they spend a lot of their time impersonating, copying, admiring, and then somehow, if they stick at it for long enough and have their own life experience, suddenly they find their own voice. I'm not a writer, thank heavens. But my wife and my son, who both are writers, I think probably my wife had to escape the American playwright Arthur Miller, and my son had to escape James Joyce, actually.
I used to study writing,
Yeah.
So I escaped from writing.
So who was your influence? So who did you admire as a writer?
Well, I quite like Eugene Arnio.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good writer. Yeah. Have
he
you
is-
escaped?
I escaped the whole writing thing.
Yes,
I don't
that doesn't
think-
count. Stopping writing is not finding your way through the anxiety of
I
it.
don't think I'm a really good writer. I think I sort of understand how to capture that moment of like interesting, but I don't have that much enthusiasm in writing compared to acting. I don't know why.
No, or life. I mean, writers pretty much have to dedicate themselves
into the
to
world.
writing.
Yeah.
You've got to be sort of, I mean, you know, Beckett was inside his plays
Yeah, I know.
all the time.
I don't have that much passion in that, and I feel like it kind of really consuming all your energy
Yeah,
to think about things, see the world.
yeah.
But so.
I don't think it's a compulsion. I don't think people probably have that much choice. Beckett once told a friend of his that writing for him was, I think he used the word like an effusion, just something that came out of him, and he compared it to sweating. So I think he would have been a writer whether or not he'd had any success. So you either are that or you're not. And it's a bit like being, I was just say this to actors too. There's a writer of fairy stories called Hans Christian Andersen, and he wrote a number of stories, and one of them that's well known is the story of the Little Mermaid. And the Little Mermaid is a mermaid who falls in love with a sailor, and she so falls in love with him that she asks a kind of a sea witch if she can leave the sea and go and look for him. And she has no voice. It was filmed by Disney. There's a film of Disney. But what they don't put in the Disney film, which is in the original story, is that she's told that if she leaves, she can leave the water. She can be
a human body.
A human body. It's like you can be an actor, you can be a writer. But if you do, every step you take will be like walking on broken glass.
You said it to me the very first time I came to the UK.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's an important thing to say to people. You can fulfill your dreams, a dream that's worth dreaming, but don't expect it to be easy. You know, Beckett's life.
It's too hard. It's not about uneasy. It is too difficult. It's like nearly impossible, but not fully impossible.
Not impossible.
Always have a little bit hope.
Yes. I mean, the question is for somebody, is it worth it? And probably if you think about that, it's not for you. Because of course the Little Mermaid is going to do that.
Yeah,
she's in love.
Exactly. You don't have any reason for why I love it. You just love it and just like can't help doing it. Although you know all the sequences probably like coming in the near future, but you just can't help. Just do it, just like that.
Yeah. So thank heavens that these people do, because what they gift us.
Waiting for 3 years to be published.
Yeah.
Waiting for cover.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Because what a gift, really, to bequeath this sort of. I mean, it's a massive body of work.
It is, and also like I think apart from very close people who understand Samuel Beckett, like lots of people, for example, like editors in those companies, they think that like they don't really understand him, and there is a lot of people who kind of like doubt if his work is going to work or not. Waiting for Godot is something which
Well, it didn't work in his French production.
Yeah, didn't really work.
No.
But who knows? But suddenly worked. Suddenly won Nobel Prize. It's like you never know about life, and he never really knows about. He's just like waiting as well.
Yes.
So yeah.
Good.
Good.